Welcome to the Nightly Rant with your hosts, Mike
and Torya.
This is the show where we examine society from a sarcastic point of view.
If you like insane conversations, this is definitely the show for you.
Let's get into today's topic. So if I get one more notice from the weather app on my phone that starting July 3rd, we're going to be living in the pits of hell for a while.
You want to know the worst part? It doesn't even help if you don't clear the notification because it stacks them and then you'll have like 35 notifications.
And the worst part is you clear the notification, lock your screen, it comes back instantly.
Yeah.
I get it. It's going to be hot as balls and they want us to know.
Then why not just put it on the weather thing or send it to us once a day?
They should just send me a text that says, hey man, July 3rd. It's going to be hot as balls. That's it. I don't need to know the rest.
Right.
Hot as balls tells me I don't want to go outside.
For more information, visit the weather app.
It is the 4th of July weekend, and we never go anywhere on the 4th of July weekend because we have this animal, the CEO, Yogi, from Yogi's podcast network. He hates fireworks. They freak him out. So we don't go anywhere on 4th of July, New Year's Eve too, that we never go anywhere ever. Because of the dog, 100%.
Because Yogi turns into a shivering bundle of jello.
And lately, Bree's been joining him, which bothers me, but...
At least she doesn't shiver as bad as he does or hide behind the toilet.
Yeah, and then you know what bothers me is the assholes after 4th of July that continue to set off fireworks illegally.
I'm going to cut them slack until end of day Saturday.
Because isn't Thursday, 4th of July? Yeah. That's fair. Until Sunday morning.
The 4th, the 5th, and the 6th.
Speaking of assholes, I think you have an Am I the Asshole for us to read. How it works is she finds it. At the most, she may have told me the title. This time she hasn't. As we go through, I am allowed to stop her, because it'll be the first time I'm hearing it. I'm allowed to stop her and ask clarifying questions or make a comment if I think I'm going to forget it later. At the end, I tell her who I think the asshole is and why. And then she tells me who she thinks the asshole is and why. Let's hear it. Just commenting, it's funny that when I talk, it barely hits your thing. And when you talk, it barely hits mine. But when you blow your nose, both of them go.
Yeah, it was really bad when I blew it right next to them. Am I the asshole for telling my quote-unquote boss that I don't take orders from her?
Do we find out why they're quote-unquote the boss?
100%.
Oh.
I have been an executive assistant to 3 managers for the last 5 years at an entertainment agency. I always had a hybrid schedule to compensate for not being able to take time off and for having to work when I do take time off. My bosses rarely come in the office anyways, and I get my work done just as quickly at home as I do in the office. A few months ago, we merged with a new company. Everything is the same, except now my direct supervisor is someone named Linda. She isn't a manager, but an administrative person at the new company that we merged with. However, the managers clearly outrank her, and I still work with the same 3 managers. Linda was not okay with my work from home a few days a week. I told her that I already got approvals from the 3 managers to keep my hybrid schedule, and there's nothing she can do about it. The managers are going to be out next week for the holiday. Linda asked me if I was working next week, and I said yes, although the managers are not. She said that it was great because she had several projects for me and other executive assistant desks to cover since other EAs would be taking time off. I said I am not coming into the office next week. Next week will be the closest thing to a vacation that I have all year, and I'm not wasting it by coming into the office. It's not fair that I can't take time off, but I also have to provide coverage so other people can take time off. She said that she was still my direct supervisor. I said yes, but the managers have final say, and until they say I can't work from home, then I'm work from home. I also reminded her that the managers outrank her, so I'm going to do what they want me to do, as I've done for the last 5 years. She said that she was going to be overwhelmed with so many admin out next week and needed the help. I said that's not my problem. She can't do anything against me. She has to run everything through the manager. She's basically the middlewoman between admin and managers, but me and the managers already had a direct relationship long before the merge. Linda's job is to make sure the managers are happy with their admin. My managers are very happy with me. I work my ass off so much that they don't need me to come to the office, so it's not like Linda can complain to them about me, and she knows this. I can take time off, but essentially I have no coverage, so my managers have things come up all the time. They don't know how to reschedule a Zoom or set up a conference call, and they don't want to answer their phones. I'll happily put in a few hours on my day off, and they won't say anything about me picking up a few overtime hours a week.
I know why it matters.
Admin is run through Linda, but Linda has to run everything through the manager, so it's not like she can say I can't work from home or fire me. She had that power that I definitely would have been fired already. I am the only admin out of 25 who has permission to work from home, but my managers rarely come into the office, and I still come in 3 times a week. I view it as a benefit that was grandfathered into my arrangement when we merged.
I don't know, man. And first of all, the reason it matters is because he's saying she's a woman and he's a man. And so men are not the majority when it comes to administrative assistants. Men are the minority.
Yeah.
And so he's basically trying to call it sexism that she's after him because he's a man. I don't know who's an asshole here. As a person who manages people, I feel it's disrespectful the way he handled it. Whose job are we talking about here? His job or the so-called boss's job?
I'm assuming his.
Okay. So whose responsibility is it to make sure that everything about your job is neatly tucked away and all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed? Yours or the so-called boss?
Yours.
Okay. Then why doesn't he go to the actual 3 bosses and be like, yo, bitch over here is trying to tell me I have to come into the office, and bitch over here is trying to make me cover things that I'm not supposed to have to cover because I have to be around for you guys because you're not going to be here. So can you please go deal with it so I don't have to deal with bitch over here? But no, he doesn't do that. Instead, he gets all sassy, and I have my opinion of what this person even looks like, so I'm not going to go there. But perhaps he's an asshole. Perhaps the only reason I would say he's an asshole is because he was obnoxious the way he treated the person. And I feel like it's his responsibility to clear the issue up. Here's why. You come into a company brand new in your role, and you decide you don't like work from home and you're not going to let people work from home. You're not going to be a dick and be like, starting tomorrow, you'll all be in the office. No, you'd be like, it's July 1st. By August 1st, each and every one of you has to come in the office 5 days a week.
Right.
Yeah, because people have different childcare needs when they work from home versus when they don't. But you want it that way. Now, the fact that a person claims that they have a deal, all right, that's a problem. And really, I think that manager, she should also go to the managers and be like, yo, me want him in office. Him say no. How do we deal with this? And let those managers say, no, we let him do what he wants because he keeps our life afloat.
Well, it sounds like he has a similar situation as I have, where you're needing to be available most of the time.
I mean, most of the time.
I ignore them on weekends now.
You know that I've noticed forever and a day how much you have to make yourself available. And I don't say anything. The only thing I said to you was recently that she probably
know.
paid more money. But that's it.
I get the benefit of Friday, for example. I maybe did 5 minutes of work on Friday.
What I'm getting at is I've noticed it for a long time and I've never said anything. It's not like I complain about it. I get it, but I don't think it's good.
When you have a position like that, where that's the expectation of your time, they have to give you some more flexibility on things, or those people are just going to leave.
And they won't have the person who they rely upon to do all that
Like
stuff.
if I was required to be available from 8 until 4 every single Monday to Friday, and then be on call in the evenings and on weekends and whatever,
You'd be gone.
We wouldn't be having this conversation.
This one for continually pushing it and ignoring the fact that the guy says he has a deal and you don't go and deal with it. And this one for being rude and snippy and pulling crap instead of going and talking to the bosses and dealing with it. They're both assholes. I've decided.
All right. So we know how old the poster is. Said he was 25. And by how the is acting,
she's 65.
I think she's probably more like 35.
You think that close in age?
I think she has a millennial attitude about I'm the boss, you're going to do what I say.
Got it. Okay. You're allowed to, I can't speak to it.
Millennials want to be in charge, but also lack the cojones to actually make themselves in charge.
Yeah.
I don't think either of them is an asshole. I think they're just both passive-aggressive idiots. How about that?
Nah. You can think that if you want.
That's okay. You're allowed to be wrong.
An asshole in that situation.
Maybe true asshole is the 3 original managers for not clarifying everything with a contract.
I wondered about that. How do they not know that this is going on?
are they really that out of touch with
Well,
everything?
and are those other two people so passive that they don't say anything about it? Even in passing, oh, I'm sorry I'm late for the meeting. I was talking to Jimmy Bob about coming to work tomorrow, and he told me that he doesn't have to. How does that never happen?
If it was my situation, the managers would certainly know that Linda was being a dick.
When I was on that executive team and there was an apartment that was having an issue, I always knew. You know how I knew? Because that exact thing would happen. The manager would be either be late for a meeting or need to leave early from a meeting. And they would always explain to the whole group, I was late because blah, 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 problem happened. And so you know what's going on in those places. So that's what I'm saying. How does the boss not know that this is up?
What are they? They're probably thinking it'll just work itself out. And I think maybe they're the true asshole here because they're leaving these people to flounder and they're creating a whole bunch of negative.
Passive aggressive people hire other passive aggressive people. And we know that these two are passive aggressive. So chances are those three are passive aggressive. And it sounds that way because there's like this unspoken thing going on. He's working every single minute of every single day. And then when he needs flexibility from them, he just demands it and they give it to him because they know that he works
every single minute of every single day.
And rather than deal with it and be like, we need to set a schedule and you need to work, you only get this many days off with pay, etc. They'd rather be passive aggressive and let him do what he wants because, like he said, no complaints about his work.
The way that they're working together is clearly working for them and clearly working for him. Somebody just needs to sort it out with Linda.
Yeah, Linda needs to get on board.
But it sounds like Linda doesn't have any of the information that she needs.
Okay, that works. I'm going to stick with Linda and whoever the guy is.
On this day, the day of my people, everyone is the asshole.
Yep, happy Canada Day.
On this day.
Yep. For those of you wondering, this is no longer evergreen content. I am so sorry.
Now, you people all know when Canada Day is, and you need to wish your favorite Canadian a happy Canada Day.
Just don't do it near our house.
Because I'll fight you.
I don't have anything left for you.
Alrighty. Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Nightly Rant.
If you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Google Play.
If you didn't enjoy the show, please just ignore that previous request for a rating.
This has been a Yogi's Podcast Network production.